If you want something you've never had before in your future in 2022, remember, you can't get that thing if you stay the same. Like you have to actually grow into a new version of yourself that is an energetic match to that goal. So that means you need to think differently. You need to take new, consistent actions. You need to experience growing pains along the way to grow into the new you. So, yes, that means having breakdowns, which then lead to breakthroughs, right? So, I encourage you to get excited about doing things that feel uncomfortable or scary. And we could do them together, right? Because I'm constantly doing that. Because I promise you, the only way that you can get to the other side of the desire that you want is through getting uncomfortable. When I first started my wedding photography business back in 2011, I made just $5,000 in my business. Now, I bring in multiple six figures per year while working only 30-hour weeks serving my dream couples. I'm here to help you discover that it's so possible to have what you want when you want in your business so that you can create the life you've always dreamed of and deserve. Welcome to another episode of the Shine and Thrive podcast, the last one of 2021. I can't believe we're already here. And oh my gosh, you should have seen me trying to set up right now to record this podcast. I was like so awkward trying to like get comfortable, not only with being pregnant. I'm about 6.5 weeks now, 30 weeks. Oh my God. See, I can't even think. Sorry, I'm 6.5 months pregnant. That translates to 30 weeks pregnant. But not only was I just trying to get comfortable because of that, but also because I'm actually not at home. So, those of you that follow me on Instagram, many of you know that Rory unfortunately got COVID last week, even though we're both double vaccinated. So that means it could be the most recent strain, Omicron or Omicron. I don't know why every time I hear it or I say it, I don't even know if I said it right. I think of Transformers. I don't know why. It just sounds so intense, like Omicron. So he started feeling like shit basically, I think around Wednesday last week. And then I was like, "Ooh, you're feeling like poop? Okay, that's not good. Let's watch that." And then the next day, he really felt like crap. So out of nowhere, we decided because I'm pregnant, I'm like, okay, let's just wear N95 masks at home. His amazing dad was able to drop them off at our place, and we were able to like distance from far away, sleep in separate beds. And then he ended up taking a rapid test a couple days later or a day later. The whole timeline in my head is all like mumbo jumbo, but it ended up being negative, even though he had symptoms like body aches and all of that. And then the following morning, he took it again, and then it was positive, and that's when I was like, okay, I guess I need to get out of here. And even though, I mean, we took precautions with me staying, like our families were like, Sarah, what are you still doing there? Like, leave. But I didn't know where to go because I didn't want to make anyone else sick. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I feel good here. Like, for now, I'm wearing an N95 mask. We're staying far away from each other. He's staying locked in a room. Like, we're good. So I felt really good with that. And on top of that, you guys know me. I'm just going to use the law of attraction to make sure that, I don't get sick. So there was never a moment on my end of like panic or stress because I just had faith in, I just have so much faith in my power to manifest based on so many past experiences that I have that are not logically explained. But because I truly believed in my entire being and my entire like soul that what I wanted will come true. And it came true so many times that way. I just believed in that. So I was all relaxed. I'm like, everything will be fine. I took the logical precautions, of wearing a mask and all of that. But I was like, it's already done. I didn't get sick. I'm not going to be sick. But there came a point where, okay, now it's going to be like a longer process with him testing positive. It's going to be a longer process of him healing. So, okay, I better leave because I don't want to be hanging out here an N95 mask, and also I guess it does pose a little bit more risk obviously with that. So I was like, okay, let me just do that. But luckily enough, my parents, so they live in a condo building, and the condo building has like this option of renting out a what's it called? Like a little hotel space. It's like a suite. It's like a suite for guests. And so I was able to rent that out for $80 a night. And it's amazing because my parents are just upstairs. So if I need anything like, a blender to make my freaking shakes that I eat every single morning because they just energize me so much and they're so healthy and they're also really agreeing with me during the pregnancy, then I'm able to easily do that instead of having to drive all the way home, pick up a blender, bring it here. So yeah, and I'm still obviously I'm not seeing them because I just want to make sure still I know it's been 7 days and I still feel totally fine, but just in case I don't want to be the spreader. So even though my parents are just upstairs, I'm not really spending quality time with them, but I'm happy that we do get to go for socially distanced outdoor walks together every day, which is really nice. And yeah, pretty much before this episode, I was just like trying to figure out how to set up and get comfortable because I'm in a new space. I'm not in the space that I usually record in. And I don't have my mic stand, so I'm actually holding the mic, which is different for me. I like to flail my arms when I speak. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? And then I finally, after 15 minutes of trying to set up, I'm like, okay, Sarah, this is where you just learn to adapt and you just freaking do it. So a little tiny life lesson in there as well. So, all right. I am so excited to dive into this episode after you hearing my little personal life story update. And this one I'm really excited to dive into because I'm so passionate about sharing kind of like the stories of the wins that I have or the failures slash lessons that I have in my life, because that to me in life is what it's all about, for us to just like be open and vulnerable and honest with each other about our journeys so we can learn from each other and also feel more connected, because we all are beings that have successes in life and also have failures and experience downs, and I want to be that person that people can turn to and feel comfortable to talk about whatever they're going through. So whatever you're going through, if you're tuning into this episode to gain some knowledge about how you can set yourself up better for 2022, or if you just need some inspiration or some uplifting energy, I hope this episode can do that for you. And so yeah, I'm excited to basically openly share all of my results from this year, not to number one brag, right? Because some of them are really, really good. I'm like so impressed with myself, so proud of myself. And also not to be a Debbie Downer because some of them, didn't go so well. I'm just sharing these to be the proof of what can be possible. And what can be possible if I do put my mind to achieving big goals and achieving them. But also, I want to be the proof that even though someone doesn't achieve all their goals, they can still have a kick ass year full of growth. So instead of you getting down on yourself right now about what you maybe didn't do well enough this year, because with me being an Enneagram 3, I totally know what that can feel like. I mean, it just, yeah, you can spiral down easily and be a nitpick at everything you didn't do well enough, right? I want to invite you to, come with me along this journey during this episode and celebrate the wins, right? And also celebrate the lessons, because those things will help pave the way of how to move forward for you to finally achieve that goal that maybe you almost achieved this year but didn't. So everything happens for you, it happens for a reason. And so let's dive in. So, if you tuned into last year's episode, the very last episode that I recorded in 2020 to basically open up and share what goals I had for 2021, then you will have a remembering of, oh yeah, you did set that goal, as I talk about them. But if you're new and you haven't heard them, that's totally cool. I'm going to tell you all about them now and tell you whether I achieved them or not and what lessons I learned along the way, right? Because lessons are so valuable. So I set 10 goals for myself for 2021. And I'm going to tell them to you like one by one. I'm not going to list them all out first. I'm going to just say them one by one and dive into everything about each of them. Okay, so the first one was for me to meditate at least once a day. And in parentheses, I wrote, it doesn't matter for how long. So it could have been a minute, it could have been 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. So, this first one, I didn't follow it. I didn't really follow it for a handful of different reasons. I mean, the start of January, I did this challenge called 75 Hard, where for 75 days straight, you need to do two 45-minute workouts, drink 1 gallon of water every day, read 10 pages of a personal development book, take a progress picture, no alcohol or cheat meals. So this was before I was pregnant, and stick to a diet that you choose. And the diet that you choose can be whatever works for you and your body and your needs at that chapter in your life. So it's not like it's like a hardcore diet that I have to stick to with that program. It's like I had the freedom to decide what that was. So for me, it was no junk food, no cheese, and you guys know how much I love my cheese, and like no sweets, so that kind of thing. So yeah, I set out to do that starting January 1st this year, and I completed it successfully without missing a day on March 15th. So I did it. So I think because I was so focused on that challenge and I was feeling so good throughout it, I was like, "Oh, I don't need meditation. Like that's not necessary." And I totally even forgot about the goal because I was so focused on doing 75 hard. And then as the rest of the year progressed, I totally failed to re-look at my goals that I had set for 2021. And so I forgot about this. I did have this goal one of the previous years. I think it could have been 2019 to meditate at least once every single day. And I did pretty well. I think I hit it to 95%. So I did such a good job that year with that. And I'm telling you, I felt a difference. So with this year not meditating as much as I used to before the pandemic, I feel like I totally got off track throughout the pandemic. I can totally feel a difference. I've recently started to meditate a little bit more. I've been doing a really good job. I think it's been 35 days in a row, but out of the whole year, like 35 days out of the whole year, I can't say I completed that goal, right? But I do have to say that when I do meditate and when I don't meditate, I can totally see the difference in how, like, my mood, how I react to things, my mindset. If I think some things can feel harder for me if I'm not meditating. But if I'm meditating, I approach certain situations or work projects with more ease and like less stress. So, yeah, I would highly suggest that you explore meditation if that's something that interests you. I used to use Headspace all the time, and now I've switched over to using Insight Timer, which is free and an incredible free resource. I mean, they ask you about your mood every day, how you're feeling, and then they give you actual meditations based on your mood, like recommendations, which is amazing. And they're more led. So instead of you sitting in silence, there's like calm music and someone leading you through an intentional meditation. And that has been a nice shift for me. So I highly suggest you checking that out if you've wanted to try meditation, but you don't know how or where or anything like that. So yeah, so goal number one, I would say that's a little bit of a fail, but it's okay because it's just a lesson and I will take that lesson. For me to know that I feel way better on a day-to-day basis, on a yearly basis, if I meditate every day, I mean, I'll take that with me and who knows, maybe this will help me really transform into committing to that moving forward. Okay, goal number two, and I'm so out of breath, like I'll have to take a breath because being pregnant, even if you're just sitting and you're on a talking spree, it's like you're outside freaking speed walking or something. Okay, my second goal for 2021 was for me to move for a minimum of 1 hour every day. And that could have been walking, yoga, running, shuffling. So, those of you that follow me on Instagram, I used to shuffle way more on Instagram, but yeah, it's a form of dance. I freaking love it so much. It's so fun. I do it to EDM. So, yeah, I told myself I would move for a minimum of 1 hour each day. And I feel like I pretty much hit the mark, which I'm really, really proud of. Like I mentioned, I did 75 hard at the beginning of the year, so that was a ton of movement. And then when I found out we were pregnant in June, at the end of June, yay, I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm literally 2.5 months away from becoming a mom. It's nuts. I can't wait. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. But when I became pregnant, it was at the start of wedding season. So automatically, I was still moving my body more through shooting and wedding days and all of that. But July and August were like some of the hardest months for me because I felt so nauseous. I felt so exhausted. Like even if I slept for literally 10 hours, I woke up feeling so foggy, and the whole day I was so foggy and exhausted. And I just don't know how I went through to like shoot so much and also create an online course, which I will talk to you about in a future goal, that upcoming goal that I'm talking to you about with the result. But yeah, so that was harder. So initially in like July, August, I didn't really move that much, like working out wise. And then September, October, again, I also just didn't move a lot. I stopped kind of working out. I became stagnant in that area. So I feel like this year I did like it's like a 50-50 split. Like for half the year, I did so well. I was so active. And then the other half of the year, it was just, a lot of new things, navigating being pregnant, not feeling well, navigating so many projects on the go that I'll talk to you about. So, yeah, another good lesson just to like, I don't know, next time I'm pregnant, maybe move a little bit more because I would have felt better. But I also am totally not even at all judging myself. I'm giving myself so much grace because I'm like, I did the best that I could and I'm proud of myself through that. And this one isn't really hitting me that intensely. I don't really feel like I failed because I really feel like I did my best and I'm proud of that. And again, some of you know that I started the 75 hard challenge again while pregnant on November 15th this year. So I can finally announce and share that I successfully completed, I think it was 33 days, every single day, like doing that. And by the way, I obviously, with being pregnant, for the 2 45-minute workouts a day, I obviously didn't go freaking crazy at like 6 months, working out. I listened to my body, and to me, walks count as a workout as well. So I just basically did a ton of walking, and that definitely helped me in my body. And I also did like a weights workout twice a week at Good Life, and that made me feel like a superhuman, like so strong. And I was like, I feel so powerful doing this like while pregnant, and I was so proud being in that class with my belly. So that was a really, really fun experience. And then yeah, so I successfully completed 33 days while pregnant. But then the whole thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode happened, where Rory got sick last week. And then it kind of like, when I got here to this little condo suite place, I continued 75 hard for the first day. And then the second day, I was like, I don't know, I just gave up. I just felt I was by myself, and I was like, I just want to like watch Bachelorette, and eat McDonald's. Like, screw it. And you know what? I've come this far, and I'm like, when I get home to Rory, like I'll just restart the 75 hard challenge again or something. And I know I won't be able to complete it because it'll go past my due date, but at least I'm like, I will recommit to like those daily practices that make me feel really good, like walking a lot, reading a lot of personal development books and all of that. So that's where I'm at. So I did quit on day 33, but I'm feeling proud that I did 33 days of it while pregnant. And I know that as soon as I get home back to Rory, we'll get back on it because he was actually doing it as well. And then when he got sick, he obviously stopped. And so it was nice doing it together. So I'm like, okay, I'll just quit and then I'll start again when I see him again. And to me, that's totally fine. Okay. Next goal was for me to have my indulge snack once a week, and it's paired with my evening alone. You're like, what are you talking about? So, one of my biggest struggles for me is food. Like, straight up, I will be the one to admit it. I have a food addiction, and I've been just trying to learn how to navigate it over the years. For those of you who have followed the podcast since the beginning, I've been open about this for like the last 2 years, and I keep trying to figure out different ways of like how to make it work for me, because I don't want to fully like let junk food go and never ever touch it again. But it seems that whenever I do that, like for example, doing a 75 hard challenge, it seems like that's my solution. And then when I end up being like, okay, well, I just want to have like a night where I can have some McDonald's or some chips, then I end up doing that maybe really well for a week or two. And then I get back to, well, what's another night? What's another night? And it snowballs from there. So I am still on this journey of figuring this out of like, why am I so connected to like not being able to control myself when it comes to food, straight up. So I'm thinking about maybe sometime in the future, I might do like even like a hypnosis on it because I know hypnosis does wonders, but I know it only works if you are ready for it and you really want to let go of that thing. And I'm just being patient with myself. Like, I know that I've already come such a long way. I used to eat so much crap and I used to binge eat, and I don't binge eat anymore. I'm so proud of that. I used to literally eat so much food in one sitting to the point where I'd have to throw up because I would feel so sick. And I haven't done that in like, it feels like years now. And I'm so proud of that. So I know I'm growing. It's a slow growth and I will get there when I get there. So I'm not going to, put myself down about this, but slowly along the way, just keep paying attention to, okay, what are my triggers? Why do I do it? When do I do it? And asking myself the hard question of like, Sara, why aren't you ready to let go of junk food yet? Or why can't you have it once a week? So I'm still on that journey of figuring it out. If you are also on this kind of like food journey, let me know. DM me on Instagram. I would just love to know I'm not alone because, it's a nice feeling to have community around you to connect on these kinds of like real life topics, right? So yeah, I didn't really follow that. And I think part of the reason I didn't follow it was because I didn't review my goals that I set up at the beginning of this year. I was like, I told myself that I'm going to be making sure to review all my goals throughout the whole year, every single month, and all of that. And it didn't happen. So that's why I literally totally forgot about this specific goal and how specific it was. I'm like, I'll have my indulge snack once a week and it'll be paired with my evening alone. So my evening alone was Rory and I every Wednesday night. He would do his own thing and I would do my own thing. It was just like an easy way to decide that and have that. And yeah, so this goal was very, very specific and I totally forgot about it, to be straight up. Okay. Next goal that I had was for me to review my beliefs and embody them daily. So I had basically written out a whole bunch of, I think it was like maybe 10 or 12 new beliefs that I wanted to grow into. So they were like opposite of what I believed now. Like, for example, maybe the belief of I have to work 40-hour work weeks in order to run a successful business. And like the belief that I wanted to switch it to was it's possible for me to work 20-hour work weeks and make up more than a full-time income. That's just an example, right? So I had them all written down on this piece of paper. They were on my wall in my office. And clearly they were probably in the wrong place. I think I put them in the corner and I should have put them like somewhere more visible where I see them more often. So that's like lesson number one because I totally forgot about them. But I did go and review them for the first month and then I fell off track because again, with 75 hard, I was doing so well and it was working so well for me. And so it's funny how I was like, oh, this is making me feel so good. I'm accomplishing so much here that I ended up kind of deviating from something else that meant a lot to me. So yeah, that's what happened there. And what I mean by embody them daily. So what I was envisioning was for me to, start off the workday every single day or start off the day every single day going to this sheet of new beliefs that I wanted to actually reprogram my brain to believe. I was going to stand there and read it and really feel it in my body and believe it in the moment. Because literally what you believe, you attract. And the vibrations that flow through your body, you attract. Law of attraction, like attracts like, right? And one thing that I've learned from some amazing, incredible mentors that I really look up to is that if you want a certain result that you've never ever had before in your life, you have to become something new. You have to become something different. You have to think differently and you have to do things differently. You have to take new actions that you've never taken before in order for you to get that result. And where it starts is with your thoughts and the things you believe, because what you believe, you literally are and you become. So that was my whole goal with that. And even though I didn't review these beliefs and embody them daily, I still had some transformations this year, which I will talk to you about in a second. Because I feel like most of these goals, I think we're on goal number 4 now. And most of them, I feel like I'm saying, I failed, I failed, I failed. But then the following goals, I'm like really excited to get into because they're like big ass exciting goals for me. Yeah, then those ones I succeeded at. But anyway, that's what I meant by that goal of reviewing beliefs and embodying them daily. Oh my God, I'm so specific with my goals sometimes, which is good. You're supposed to be specific. Okay, goal number 5. This is the big one. This is the one that I was like dreaming of for so many years, and it finally came to fruition for me. So the goal was to enroll 50 students in my Outsourcing Made Easy program for photographers. And this is my big signature program that provides the biggest transformation that I can provide to photographers based on everything that I've learned in my career. And this is where I teach photographers how to have more time freedom, financial freedom, and creative freedom in their business through outsourcing. So, shout out to all my OMIs, all the ones that were past students or just enrolled this year. Yeah, I'm just like so grateful and excited to support you. And this is one of my biggest accomplishments of 2021. And I would say, even thus far of my career, because this whole journey of me putting out this message of the power of outsourcing that it can have in your photography business and how it could trickle into your life has started for me a long time ago. Like 3 years ago was when I initially had the idea to start teaching this to photographers. And so I can't believe it's already been 3 years. I mean, 3 years ago was when I started this program in a workshop format. It was in person. It was back in 2019, and I ended up putting out one workshop in person. That one was a huge success. The students had so many light bulb moments. They're like, oh my gosh, Sara, this is missing in the industry, and I wish we already knew this information. How did we not know this information? And so I hosted a second one that year. And then there was more demand for it. So I hosted a third one. So back in 2019, I had 21 students that came to those outsourcing workshops, which was incredible. And then I had the huge goal of creating this into an online course so I can reach more photographers and impact more photographers in a positive way and just spread the message in a bigger capacity because, I couldn't reach as many photographers doing it in person at home. So I created it into a digital course, which was a lot of work because this is a bigger like signature program, really taking you from point A to B or A to Z, teaching you all the foundations of, how to switch your mindset from believing that outsourcing is hard to realizing it's actually not as hard as you think, and teaching you the foundations of how to hire and train someone and showing you the step-by-step systems that I have in place when it comes to outsourcing so that you don't have to make them up from scratch. I just give them to you. You can copy and paste them into your business. It's like there was so much work that went into it. And so when it was finally time to launch the online program in 2020 last year, it was March, and it was exactly the time when in Ontario, the pandemic pretty much started for us. And I'd worked so hard to put this course together, to talk about it on the podcast, to spread the message of outsourcing. And at the end of the day, 9 students had signed up, right? My goal was 50, but 9 students signed up in 2020, which is incredible because with the year that we had and the uncertainty that we had, I thought that was amazing that 9 students still signed up. But in the moment, oh man, when you have a goal of, let's say 50 students, you want to help 50 students and only 9 sign up, it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of lack or of making that mean something like, I'm not good enough, I don't teach well enough, feeling all that imposter syndrome. So I basically mourned that launch. It broke my heart that I put so much energy and work into it and heart. And I just felt like no one was listening to me, no one was trusting me. And then after I mourned it for, a couple weeks to a month, I think it was, I had to just realize, Sarah, there's a pandemic happening. There's no certainty with what's happening with weddings, all of that. So obviously, when I came out of that dark place of no one trusts me, no one wants to learn from me, I had to check myself and be like, Sarah, is that actually true? Like, no one wants to learn from you. Can you hear how ridiculous that sounds? I was like, okay, Sarah, I basically have these conversations with myself in my head to like give myself a pep talk, right? So now when I look back, I'm like, that's incredible. Like 9 students invested in this course at the start of the pandemic. That's incredible. So that for me last year was $18,000 in revenue from that course, which was really good. It helped pay a lot of the initial expenses of me even creating the course. So it's not like I even lost money or broke even. It was profitable, which was amazing. And so basically from there, I was like, okay, onwards and upwards. I'm going to do the best I can in, continuing to keep my business going in the middle of the pandemic with my clients, my photography clients, as well as growing my education side of my business. So this year, when Omi finally relaunched in the fall of 2021, my goal, I kept it the same as the previous year. I'm like, I want to help 50 students transform their businesses, transform their lives through Omi. And I didn't know how I was going to do that because with the course being priced at about $2,000, that is a launch of $100,000. Again, I always say this, like, you dreaming big, forget about the how because it's impossible for you to know the how right away. You need to just know what you want and why you want it, right? And so I had no idea how I was going to make that happen. So I didn't exactly make 50 students happen, but the final number of how many students enrolled in OMI this year was 39 students. So that was a revenue of $81,000 from this one launch of Omi. It was my biggest launch ever. I've never experienced a launch like that before, and I just feel so proud. And to me, it's kind of like shoot for the stars, land on the moon kind of thing, right? So my goal was to enroll 50 students. I could easily be like, oh, I didn't hit it, 11 more students and I would have reached my goal. But I'm like, hell no, like I hit my goal. Like that is incredible. I get to help 39 photographers literally have more time with their family, like with their kids, with themselves, create more opportunity for more financial freedom because they're no longer going to be doing the tasks that, drain them, that don't actually bring in revenue. Like, I'm just so excited. So, yeah, this was like a huge win for me that I'm so proud of. And I do want to share a more vulnerable story from that launch because I ended up having like a breakdown, an emotional breakdown halfway through the launch. But after it, right after that breakdown, I had a quantum leap moment in the results that I was getting because I quantum leaped in. I feel like I spiritually quantum leaped with this emotional breakdown. So to break it down for you, the launch of Omi was 9 days long. And halfway through Omi, through the launch of it, I had this breakdown of, again, that whole imposter syndrome coming back just like it did the year before, of me saying, no one wants to learn from me, no one trusts me, I'm not doing a good enough job teaching or communicating what can be possible for them, like all these thoughts, right? And we all can go down this rabbit hole of thoughts and feeling bad about ourselves, right? It's totally normal. And I'm sharing this so that you feel less alone because I guarantee that every single one of you have felt this way about yourself throughout your journey, your photography journey, right? Being like, I'm not good enough. What if no one wants to hire me, right? So I want to share with you that this has also happened to me. And I want to share with you how I got out of it and what the result was coming out of it. Attention, fellow wedding photographers and fellow wannabe wedding photographers. Tell me if this sounds like you. You're scared of missing key moments on wedding days. You feel pressured to create photos that are quote unquote Pinterest perfect and Instagram worthy. You're nervous about all the different lighting scenarios that are out of your control and you're not sure how to handle them. You're confused on how to balance creating beautiful imagery while also capturing authentic moments and emotion. And you're worried about being in people's way too often. If you're like, hells yeah, Sara, you read my mind, then I'm here, all excited and bushy tailed. Yes, I had to throw in the squirrel reference to let you know that I've created something for you that will help you become a confident wedding day storyteller in just 2 weeks. It's an online program that I created just for you called Intuitive Storytelling, and it's officially out and ready for enrollment. I want you to take a moment and imagine for a second what life would be like if you knew how to be at the right place at the right time on wedding days so you can catch those key and in between moments. You got emails back from your clients saying, "You were the best freaking decision we made for our wedding." You also knew how to confidently create strong storytelling photos that people felt emotionally connected to. And you finally felt like an actual fly on the wall, aka people don't stare into your camera all day anymore. Well, it's all possible because I consistently experience these things myself. And now I want to help you make these possibilities become your reality. Are you all bright eyed and bushy tailed right now, too? Again, had to throw in the squirrel reference, you know me. So listen up. You can get started on learning all my tips and tricks of how I document wedding days as soon as today. You can go to saramonika.com/storytelling for all the deets and instructions on how to grab your copy of the course. You'll have lifetime access and you can go at it at your own pace, along with a private community of other like minded photographers that are on the same journey as you are. With intuitive storytelling, you'll be able to learn how to confidently storytell like a pro on wedding days in just 2 weeks. So, what are you waiting for? Uplevel your storytelling game this wedding season so that next year you'll be watching your inbox filling up with even more inquiries. Hello, referrals from this year's clients. So again, head over to saramonika.com/storytelling and sign up now. I cannot wait to see you in there. So the reason I had the breakdown was because I felt like I was gonna not hit that big goal again this time around. Let me tell you why. So day one, when it was the cart open day for my course, 3 people signed up. I'm like, okay, amazing. Then the following day, day two, 6 people signed up. Okay, great. The following day, day three, 3 people signed up. So far, that's a total of 9 people. Okay, so I want you to pay attention how funny the universe can get and how it could just like poke at you and help you realize through numbers, if you're paying attention, that it's trying to teach you the same lesson it tried to teach you before. So I had 9 people sign up until this point of the launch. And remember how I told you that back in 2020, the total amount of people that signed up in that year was 9, right? So I'm like, okay, day 3, 9 people, that's awesome. Okay, day 4, how many people signed up? 0. Day 5, how many people signed up? 0. Day 6, how many people signed up? 0. And that's when I had my breakdown. I was just in my office, like pacing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna have the same result a whole year later? Just 9 people. I'm like, I need to help more than 9 photographers. Like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And I went down this whole spiral of feeling not good enough, not worthy, and just focusing on the wrong things. And then it hit me. I was like, 9. Oh my gosh. The universe is trying to teach me something. It's trying to teach me to approach it from a different angle, from a different way, and to match my energy. I clearly am an energetic match to attracting 9 students, but what do I have to do? Who do I have to become in order to attract more students? I can't think the same way I did last year because I'll get the same result. So, what I ended up doing was out of nowhere, This is why like listening to podcasts from people that you really look up to and who are achieving the things you want to achieve, I think is so important and so powerful. And it's like mind food for you, right? Out of nowhere, all these lessons came flooding in from, I remember listening to Manifestation Babe and how she said how important it is to detach yourself from your goals in a way where you're not chasing them out of desperation and you're not chasing them out of a place of like giving them meaning to the sense of only if I achieve this goal am I worthy, right? You have to come from a place of I am already worthy, I am worthy now. And she said that if you are chasing a goal from this desperate energy of like, I need it, I need it, I need it now, the energy that you are actually putting out into the universe is the energy of lack, the energy of I don't have that thing now. And so in law of attraction, like attracts like. So if you're putting out the energy of I don't have it yet, then it's gonna literally bounce back to you just like a boomerang, the result of not having it yet. And it was like this huge realization in my head. And I was realizing, I'm like, oh my gosh, of course no one's signing up for my course because if I'm thinking the thoughts of no one trusts in what I have to teach, that was literally the thought that was going through my head, then of course, maybe in during those days I was putting out that vibration and then no one was trusting in what I had to teach. And there was some kind of weird block for people to sign up for it energetically and totally subconsciously too, right? So in that moment when I, shed all those tears, I had that breakdown in my office. I changed my mindset from a place of me, right? Because I was making it about me. I was like, it was my ego, right? Like no one is trusting in what I have to teach, right? I was like, okay, how can I switch my energy to be an energy of service and for people? Like, because at the end of the day, I've created this course to help people, to help other photographers. So why am I not in that energy now? Why am I in an energy of me? That didn't make sense. So as soon as I had that realization, I switched from believing that no one trusts in what I have to teach to believing that every single person that is meant to sign up for OMI at this time will sign up. And I also switched to a mindset of doing whatever it takes, no matter how much imposter syndrome I feel, or making it about me, or thinking about myself and being scared to show up and all of that. I just said to myself, I am going to do whatever it takes to share this message with as many photographers as possible and then empower them to make the decision that's best for them without me being attached to whether they sign up or not. Because as soon as I detached myself from being desperate from that result, I made it about them and not about me. And it took me back to that energetic place of being, I wish there was another word to say in service, like just being there for my audience in the most like compassionate way possible, in the most loving way possible. And that felt so good to me. I was like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. I just know that I'm here to help people. And why not just like focus on helping people now? And whatever the result is of whoever wants to be helped, that will be the result. And I will be at peace with it. And I will be grateful for every single student. And so that's how I chose to operate for the rest of the launch. And I really do believe now that that was more of a breakthrough than a breakdown because of the numbers that I have to show for the following days. So the day that I had my third 0 signups in a row was day 6, okay? The following day was day 7, and I had one person sign up. And I think this was the universe testing me and being like, all right, let's see how detached you really are. Let me just give you one person and let's see how you react to it, right? Are you going to react again, all crying and woe is me and I'm not good enough? Or are you going to be like, that's amazing, one more person. I am so excited to help them and I'm here for anybody else who is ready to sign up, right? So I had one more person sign up. And then listen to this. Day 8, this is the second last day of the launch. 9 people signed up. 9. That was like in one day I doubled the signups during the launch. And I was like, oh my gosh, I celebrated every single person. Every time someone new signs up to one of my programs, I literally look at their name in the email and close my eyes and I actually send them this energy, this flow of energy, and I wish them all the lessons from the course to like seep into them and make them successful. Like I literally do that for every single one of you that has bought any type of course with me, whether it's CCM or intuitive storytelling or OMI, I have done that for you because that's how much I care. So I was just doing that and I was just like being there in that kind of energetic state, but not making it mean that because they signed up, I'm worthy. I made it more about them. I was like, they signed up. I'm so proud of them. They are worthy of this transformation now because they actually committed to themselves and their business to transform in this way now. So that was such a fun and like powerful day. It felt so good because I was just making it about everybody else, and that was amazing. Now, day 9, the very last day of the launch. Let me tell you the number of how many people signed up that one last day. 16 people. 16. I was just like the sales were coming in and I was like, what is happening? Oh my gosh, like wow, I understand the lesson now. Like I understand why this happened for me, right? So, as a fun little breakdown, it's so nuts because I told you guys that the launch of Omi generated $81,000 in revenue for my business. So, now I want to give you the fun stats of my journey throughout the launch of like how much I was earning on every day with how many people bought, right? So, this will give you like that quantum leap feeling of like, holy crap, Sara, yeah, you did have a breakthrough and you learned the lesson and you applied it. And then at the end, you really got rewarded for it. So day 1, I was able to bring in 62. I'll just kind of like keep it. I won't give you exact numbers because some of them are like 235, 534, you know? So let's just say first day, $6,000 in revenue. Second day, $12,500 in revenue. Third day, $6,000 in revenue. Then day 4, 5, 6 were the $0 in revenue. Day 7 was $2,200 in revenue. And then these were the quantum leap days after I changed who I was being and what I believed in and the energy that I carried. Day 8 was $18,500 in revenue. And day 9, the big one, $33,000 in revenue. That I could not, like 2 days before that, I was having the biggest breakdown ever. 2 days later, little did I know that I was able to bring that into my life. So I hope that this story inspires you to think a little bit differently, maybe with how you're showing up and maybe what you are attracting into your life, because I do believe that a lot of our results are based on what we believe and who we are being. All right, next goal. Goal number 6 was for me to create a storytelling online course all about wedding day storytelling. And my goal was to enroll 99 students in it. I don't know why I picked 99. Maybe it felt less intimidating than picking the number 100 students. I don't know. It just felt right to me. So, this one I'm so proud of. I ended up enrolling so far in 2021 because I did have a launch of this course, and then now it's just available whenever you would like it, and as opposed to Outsourcing Made Easy. Outsourcing Made Easy I launch once a year, so the next round of students won't be until the fall of 2022. And then this intuitive storytelling course that I created, I meant to create it to have like a launch when I initially created it, and then for it to be always available for you to purchase and dive into it. So I don't know the exact number of students that enrolled during the launch, but so far in this year, in 2021, 85 students have signed up. So I'm like totally jumping for joy. I'm feeling so grateful, so excited for those students. And I feel like I pretty much hit my goal. Again, shoot for the stars, land on the moon. I feel really amazing about that. And so this course generated around, I don't have the exact number, around $36,000 in revenue from this one course. And now that it's all done and completed, like all the hard work is behind me, it will become a passive income source for me moving forward. And so this was a huge accomplishment. This was another big course to put together. It had a lot of moving parts, a lot of scripting, a lot of video footage to film. There was a lot, and especially to keep it all organized and outsource that to my virtual assistant and make sure to communicate everything where I wanted where it was a lot, but again, I always kept reminding myself my future self will thank me. My future self will thank me. And at the end of the day, I was thinking of every single one of you that really wanted to learn how to become a strong storyteller on wedding days. I was thinking of you guys when it got hard, and I'm so grateful that I kept through it and did the work, because just the testimonials, hearing back from you all of how much more confident you are on wedding days now, the photos that you're able to get that are so full of emotion, it just makes it all so worth it. So I'm really proud that I was able to put this project together and make it happen, and now have this amazing passive income source for myself and this education source for all of you. And one thing though that I felt like I could have done so much better is that I procrastinated this project so much because of how much detail it needed for this course to be created. There was just like so much detail. There was so much work. Just straight up, it was a lot of work, okay? And so I was procrastinating it. I could have literally completed it in off season at the start of the year, but I was procrastinating it and procrastinating it. And finally, when I'm like, oh my God, I literally can't procrastinate it anymore, because later in this year, there's going to be OMI and I have to focus on that. And I also want to make sure I'm focused during wedding season on all my couples. I again left it to the freaking last minute. And I ended up finding myself in June and July creating this course while starting a wedding season and while finding out that I'm pregnant and in my first trimester. And my first trimester was so far in my pregnancy the hardest, because I felt so nauseous and so exhausted, like I mentioned before. And so this was a huge lesson for me this year in, how procrastination makes things harder and not easier. And with how painful it was for me just to go through creating this course exhausted and also shoot weddings exhausted at that point, even though I had help, right? Because, you guys know I outsource my editing, my culling, I outsource so many tasks in my business. Even through outsourcing, right? I was just so tired in my first trimester that everything just felt so hard. I'm actually really grateful for that lesson, because now I feel like I'm always going to remember that feeling and not ever wanting to feel it again, to make sure that I plan ahead and don't get myself in those situations of, overwhelm and burnout. So it's kind of funny, because it's been years and years and years since I last felt burnt out in my business, because I no longer was wearing all the hats. Everything was running smoothly. And then, of course, when I procrastinated a huge project like this and then I found out I'm pregnant, I did feel burnt out and overwhelmed in July and August. But as soon as this one was done, I fell back on track and back to not working insane hours. And that's what reminded me of like how important the whole message of outsourcing is in your business, because I honestly don't know how photographers just keep going and going every single season, so overwhelmed, so burnt out, because I only had 2 months of it. And I'm like, no, never again. I forgot what this is like. Like, I can't believe I got myself to that place again. So yeah, it was just, I'm grateful for that lesson. And so I'm going to really focus. One of my biggest focuses is going to be on training my mindset to not procrastinate and make sure that I know that once I complete a task, I'm going to feel amazing. And I have to do the task anyway. So why not do it now? Why not do it while you're not under stress and leaving it to the last minute? So yeah, that was an amazing win for me this year. I'm so proud of that. And also a fun lesson. A fun lesson. It wasn't fun in the moment, but I'm grateful for that lesson now. Okay, we have 3 goals to review coming up. So the next one is goal number 7, and my goal was to have a passive income average of $6,000 per month through things like stock photography and digital products, so education pretty much. And so one thing I do want to say is that passive income, it exists and it doesn't, because passive means that you're not doing anything, you're not working at all, and you have that income coming in, right? And so the opposite of that is also it's active income. So you're actively working in your business, and for the, value that you're putting in or giving to the world or the time that you're spending, you're getting income for that, right? I feel like my passive income goals that I have are for me to actually not be specifically working on that project, not be spending any time on it, and receiving income for it. So that's kind of like where I'm headed and where I want to be with a lot of the income streams in my business in the future. And I feel like I didn't hit that this year because I actively created Crystal Clear Marketing this year. That's my mini marketing course. I created that this year and I had to launch it. So that was active income, right? And then I also created my intuitive storytelling course and I launched it. So that was more active. But the beautiful thing is that I now have those two education assets that I can keep reselling over and over again. And eventually, right, once I create even more podcast episodes and more listeners start listening in, then they're going to pretty much sell themselves. And that's what I've already been seeing happening. So that's when it becomes more of that passive income stream, right? So I feel like I like achieved it, but not achieved it. And I'll tell you why. So, funnily enough, if I take my income numbers in and calculate them together with my stock photography, my print sales from my online shop through my client galleries through PickTime, and as well as all of my course sales, because technically Outsourcing Made Easy, since I already created that course, the digital course last year, all I had to do this year was launch it and then support my students here and there through the calls and stuff like that. So to me, that is already more passive than the other two courses. So in general, this is a very interesting result to this goal. So my result was, again, from the stock photography that I saw on the side, my pick time print sales, and my courses, I actually ended up making about $8,900 a month in additional revenue in my business, technically as quote unquote passive income. Okay. So I'm actually, wow, I feel like I like half achieved it because I like obviously I hit the goal and I surpassed it. But on top of that, there was a lot of work involved this year. So it's not quite passive yet, but it's going to be way more passive even in 2022. I'm not creating any more courses. I'm not in course creation mode. I'm just going to be in course selling mode. So, yeah, I'm just so proud of that. I can't even believe that I actually technically surpassed the goal. So, I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm just so proud to have this income stream in my business for myself, my family. And on top of that, clearly, helping all of these students as well in the process. And I know some of you might be thinking right now, ooh, like how much do you make through stock and how much did you make through your pick time print shop, right? So I just want to mention, like, I keep track of all the numbers in my business. I know exactly to the freaking dollar at the end of the year, at the end of every single year. So I still have a week and a half to like really put everything together, but I pretty much know my final numbers. I keep track of all my numbers, and this is going to be another podcast episode in the future to know what's working in my business, what's worth my time for me to spend time on, and what's not. So, yes, I do have some stock income coming in and some print sales coming in from PickTime, but it's not as much as my online courses, my education side of my business. But I will share the numbers with you. So, for example, for my stock photography that I decided about 3 years ago to just dive into, see how it goes, I want to see if it's a good passive income stream. I ended up making so far this year, I think about it's $5,500 total for the whole year. So it's about $500 in extra income a month. And at this point, that is passive income because I haven't done any stock shoots or anything like that this year, and that money is just coming in. So that $500 is passive, but depending on what your financial goals are, it's not that significant, right? And then we have the print sales that I had from PickTime this year, which my sales, I think, were about 7,000, but my profit from those was 3,000. So again, if you're looking at like the whole scope of the year, $3,000, if you're going to be spending a lot of time there, it's not really worth your time as much, but it was some extra nice cash on the side for me to bring in. So just wanted to give you guys those actual numbers so that you can learn from me and know where it's worth putting your time and investing your time in. So, yeah, stock photography was a little bit of an experiment. And because I earn so much more through my wedding photography as well as my education side of my business, and of course, those two aspects light me up so much more. I'm so much more passionate about them. I've decided to pretty much slow down in contributing to stock photography because it's not what lights my soul on fire. And on top of that, it's actually not that much income if you're not really going at it full time. So yeah, I decided to kind of like not contribute to that anymore, but I am grateful for that extra side income that will now keep forever coming in as I randomly sell images through stock. So yeah, goal number 7, I feel like it was really achieved. I'm so proud of myself and surpassed. So that's a nice big fun green check mark I had to put beside it. All right, goal number 8. We're almost there. So my goal number 8 was to create 2 smaller digital products. And what I wanted to do was create smaller offers that could help photographers in more of the starting parts of their business, or even just like a smaller course that was just like a quick win that could still be really impactful in the business, but didn't take too long to go through. And so I achieved half of that goal because I created one mini course, and that's called Crystal Clear Marketing, where I teach you how to attract and book your dream clients. So I'm really proud of that one. That one launched at the beginning of January and is always available for you to purchase. So that's at saramonika.com/crystal clear. And the second one I just decided not to create because because I procrastinated. And it took me too long to end up creating intuitive storytelling. And intuitive storytelling was more of the priority. So maybe this little course I shall create in the future when I feel energetically available for it. I was thinking, this is like totally a brainstorm, of creating a mini course on how I build my workflows. And as soon as I said that, I know a lot of you are probably like, yes, 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 please, please, please. Because I know a lot of you are like, how? Where do I even start? And so hopefully sometime in the future, I'll create that for you as well. So, not too many lessons or anything with this one. I feel so proud of the Crystal Clear Marketing mini course that I created because it has helped so many photographers. I mean, I keep getting so many messages from you all with how much it's helping you get really, really clear on your niche and your messaging and who you want to attract and how to show up for them and how to book those dream clients, all of that. So, I'm really passionate about that course. So I'm excited that I created it. But I think the main lesson from this one is that me procrastinating creating my other priority course, which was intuitive storytelling, got in the way of me creating the second mini one. So that's the lesson there. Okay, goal number 9 was for me to be a guest speaker on 5 photography podcasts. So I feel like I did pretty well here. I was a guest speaker on 3 photography podcasts, and this was me without even reaching out to any, I think. I mean, I think I reached out to one. I can't even remember the whole year. So many projects on the go, but straight up, I'll be honest, I had so much imposter syndrome for some reason that I didn't even reach out that much to like introduce myself to other podcasters and see if we can like collab. I just wasn't in the energetic space for some reason. And so I just kept it safe and I didn't reach out. But I also think that maybe because I was just so focused on creating intuitive storytelling and also being pregnant and then shooting the wedding season and then launching Outsourcing Made Easy, like that was all in the span of like June to October. I was just so focused with that. But I think where I could have done a really good job was taking more advantage of the months of like February to May, because I literally, those are the months that I could have done so much, but I basically didn't do much. At the end of the day, like, who cares in a way? Because maybe I just needed that time to just chill and relax. And me being an Enneagram 3, this is so unnatural to me, but clearly I was just kind of probably procrastinating and kind of fooling myself that, oh, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll send this email to this podcaster tomorrow. When I think now moving forward, I should just be real with myself and be like, Sarah, maybe you're procrastinating because you're kind of half in working and half into relaxing. Maybe just take some time, take 2 or 3 weeks into just full on relaxation mode don't fool yourself that you're going to do any work. Just like don't do anything. And then maybe you can dive in and you won't feel the need to procrastinate because you'll feel recharged. So maybe that's my lesson there. But yeah, I'm really proud and grateful and excited to have been a guest on 3 podcasts. And my last and final goal was for me to grow my email list to 4,444 photographers. Again, my angel number, fun, weird stuff coming in there. I'm like, if I'm going to pick a number, I'm just going to pick a fun angel number. Why not as a goal? So this I didn't achieve because I didn't put too much focus on it. I think it's because I felt a little overwhelmed with the pregnancy, with creating a course during wedding season, all of that. And again, another lesson in procrastination, right? Everything has a domino effect. If you're going to procrastinate one project, it could affect your other goals and other projects, right? I didn't focus on this too much. And I mean, I'm okay with that. I do have 1,300 amazing quality subscribers that I'm excited to nurture even better moving forward. The one thing that I wanted to make sure was I never want to just send an email just to send an email, just be like, oh, I have to do a weekly email. Like, I want to make sure it's quality and I want to make sure it's not wasting anyone's time or inbox space. So I wanted to make sure if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to grow an email list to more, photographers to help, I want to do it well and I want to do it right. And so that's why I'm like, I didn't have the energy. I just didn't have the bandwidth. And so I'm going to have to figure that out moving forward of how I'm going to make sure to make space for that, create proper workflows and all of that. And so, yeah, I'm grateful for this realization as well. So I don't really see it as a fail. I just see it as, another lesson. All right. So those were my goals and those were my stories behind them. And now I just want to take a moment to, I guess, recap what lessons I'm taking away from 2021. So I'm realizing through the goals that I've achieved that I'm already a really great energetic match to creating an abundance of revenue in my business. So pretty much like the belief that I can achieve my biggest financial goals, or I am a money magnet, or I can earn a lot of revenue for helping a lot of people. Like those types of mindset, like thoughts and beliefs are already so ingrained in me. And I feel like I've trained myself well. Like this took time to get there. Like there was a time in my life where I had the belief that people that make a lot of money aren't good people and like all this stuff. And then as I was like realizing that that's not true through proof of so many other entrepreneurs that make a lot of money, but also have a really, really positive impact on the world, then I started to feel a little guilty of like wanting more money, but learning through those entrepreneurs that hey, the more money you earn, the more money you can give then if you want, right? To your family, to people in need, to charities, to keep growing your business so that you can impact more people with your experiences and your knowledge, right? That shifted for me. And so now I'm proud. Like I'm so proud to value money as a tool, as a positive tool that we get to use on this earth. And so if you want to make more money, like do not feel guilty about it, right? It is just a tool and it's only how it's used that has the negative or positive connotation that goes along with it, right? So another thing that I have learned is that since I clearly am a great energetic match to money, maybe it's time for me to get a little bit more uncomfortable with training myself, it's like I'm a dog or something, training myself on more practices that make me uncomfortable. So something that I haven't mastered yet. So things like, actually sticking to meditation every day or not procrastinating. That is a big one, right? And another thing I realized I don't do enough is I don't review my goals enough daily and weekly and monthly and all of that, because that's, I think, how I forget how those other goals like meditating every day or going through my new beliefs and reviewing them and embodying them, the way that those slipped through the cracks was because I didn't actually review them, my goals, on a consistent basis. Because I remembered all of my big career driven goals, which are now kind of, I guess, my comfort zone of like Yeah, I want 50 students to enroll in Outsourcing Made Easy. I want to make $6,000 in passive income a month. Like those ones are always floating through my head. And isn't it interesting how, if those are the ones that I'm remembering and that I'm constantly thinking about, those are the ones I'm achieving, right? So I need to take a step back and remember to review the goals that I don't automatically think of in my head because they're not in my comfort zone yet. So I need to get uncomfortable. I need to do the work. I need to have some growing pains through those goals in order to grow to the next level, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, all of that. And as I'm saying this, I see 1111. Wow, that's amazing. Um, Basically, how I'm going to do this is I want to make sure to be more intentional about how I start my days and how I set up my days. So, the last couple days in a row, I woke up and I went straight into a morning meditation, and I found it on Insight Timer, as I mentioned before. And it was just so grounding, and I felt so at peace and inspired. And that was just such a beautiful way to start the day instead of like social media or email. Like, that is a bad habit. I need to really kick out the door. And also starting out my day with a walk and mind food. And mind food to me is listening to inspiring podcasts, learning about the things that I want to learn to get me feeling all like high vibe for the day, right? So that I need to intentionally really focus on cultivating in my life because I could tell a huge difference the days that I do that. I said do, just like Chandler and Friends. The days that I do that, I feel so much better and so much more inspired and energized. I am just so excited at the year ahead to see, who the person I am going to become if I learn to apply myself in these other areas that I haven't really mastered yet. And on top of that, I'm really excited to become a mom. And that is going to be a whole nother area of growth for me that I don't even know what I'm in for yet because you can't really know something until you experience it, right? So I'm just so open to all the lessons there and all the growth there and to meet our little one. So that's exciting. So oh my gosh, I am so grateful for you. If you're literally still listening to this, like I did not even know this episode would be this long. Everything that flows out of me is all intentional with purpose. I want to make sure to give as much value to you as possible and not hold anything back. I really value being raw, open, and honest. And I hope, that has been of value to you today. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, whether you're driving or walking or doing the dishes or whatever. It's so nice to connect with you in this way. And so, lastly, I want to leave you with this. So, if you want something you've never had before in your future in 2022, remember you can't get that thing if you stay the same. Like, you have to actually grow into a new version of yourself that is an energetic match to that goal. So that means you need to think differently. You need to take new, consistent actions. You need to experience growing pains along the way to grow into the new you. So, yes, that means having breakdowns, which then lead to breakthroughs, right? So, I encourage you to get excited about doing things that feel uncomfortable or scary. And we could do them together, right? Because I'm constantly doing that. Because I promise you, the only way that you can get to the other side of the desire that you want is through getting uncomfortable. I know it sucks in the moment, but just think about it. When you're on the other side, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, it was uncomfortable, but like that wasn't actually that bad because now I'm in this present moment and I feel amazing. And you actually forget about all of that. So, man, it's just like a little kid, right? Like when they are learning how to walk, there's so many times when they fall, maybe they hit their like knee or they cry and there are growing pains, right? But on the other side, they become an evolved version of themselves. So, this is your invitation to freaking dream big for 2022. And just remember that the how doesn't matter right now for you. Don't worry about the how. Like, just pick what you want and why you want it, right? Declare it. And then the fun part is that the universe will literally leave you little breadcrumbs along the way with little clues on how to get to the next step and then the next step and over and over again, right? So all you have to do is make sure that you remind yourself to get quiet and still enough to listen and notice all the opportunities and possibilities around you. And remember, this is a big one, that every single thing in your life is happening for you. I encourage you, every single time you feel like something is happening to you and you go right away into the thought process of, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? It's not fair, right? Like just pause, take a breath and be like, whoa, wait. Why is this happening for me? How is this happening for me? What lesson am I supposed to see right now? Just like I did right when I had that breakdown in the middle of my Omi launch, I paused and asked that exact question, and look how much of a transformation I was able to have. So I encourage you to always, every step of the way, ask yourself, how is this happening for you? So, cheers to you. You got this. I freaking believe in you so much. And now it's your turn to believe in yourself. So, with all that said, thank you for tuning in this year to the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. And if you're a new listener, thank you for, hanging out with me on the back end of the year. And oh my gosh, I hope you have the most amazing New Year's ever. This is going to be my first sober New Year's since I was a kid. So, no, but honestly, I'm going to be totally fine. I'll probably just make it all spiritual and like meditate and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just grateful I'll be with Rory and we get to become parents soon. So I'm definitely going to approach it from that perspective. But sometimes, I miss my wine. So yeah, cheers to you, whatever kind of New Year's you're going to have. And I cannot wait to reconnect with you in the new year. Bye. Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sara Monika Photo. That's Sara no H, Monika with a K photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.